All right, y'all, let's get cranked up here for the last hour of the week. Man, it has been a very quick week. So much stuff going on in the news. We'll recap some things, get some more phone calls in here. First up, relatively new sponsor to the show. We had some room for a new sponsor, and I was glad to welcome Tapco because, man, we needed a good service company that can take care of your vehicles. We haven't had that in years and years. Now, Michael's shop is downtown Birmingham on 6th. And he's very close to our friends over at Birmingham Broker. In fact, he and Craig do a lot of business together. But I'm telling you, this is one of the most professionalized R auto, I guess you call it repair shop, service center, performance center I've seen in a long time. You can just that when you meet Michael, he is a total top notch guy. You know how it is. You need to trust your mechanic. You need to have that bond and know you can take problems to them that are too difficult for you to figure out and let them straighten it out. And that's their whole thing is being the best in town. So much so that they do vehicle work for a lot of the state agencies. They do a lot of fleet work. If you've got a if you got a business and you have several vehicles in your business, you are wasting time trying to do this stuff or put your cars all over town to manage those things. You got to focus on business. Let Michael and his team handle that for you. They're just good at solving problems other people cannot figure out, and that's one of the keys. And I'm telling you the truth. There are auto dealerships with their own service departments that will bring their cars to Tapco. There are other mechanics that will hit a wall trying to trace a problem down, and they'll bring their stuff to Tapco. Their guys kind of pride themselves at being sleuths. They've even got high tech equipment to chase down stuff. It may be something like an engine replacement all the way down to a rattle, which I've got a situation like that now that's driving me crazy. They can trace it down and find exactly what it is and solve that problem for you. And they won't let a car go until they know it's safe for you to get up and down the road. That's a big deal with them, is that vehicle's safe, it's put back together right, and it's good for the road. If you need a trusted mechanic and service center from everything from routine maintenance, um, you can take it to a place on the side of the road in these oil change places. But when you want it done right and your car looked over and really taken good care of, y'all get it down and let Michael and them see it at Tapco. You'll just appreciate their approach. I know I did it. In life. You need a good financial planner. You need a good doctor. Sometimes you need a good lawyer, and you dang sure need a good mechanic in your life from time to time. And nowadays, cars aren't. I was talking to Michael like this. I grew up when it was fuel, air, and spark. I mean, you could work on your own stuff. My grandfather spent a lot of his life under a hood teaching me things while I held the flashlight. Cars are different now. They are computers. You need a technician. A straight up mechanic just can't diagnose these things. Sometimes it's something hidden in the software you'd never know about. So y'all let Michael and his team get a hold of it. We welcome them to the show. Glad to have them on this week. Again, downtown on 6th. Let me give you a website. That's the best way to get their phone number, get an appointment, or to get your car down there or your truck, whatever you're driving. TapcoBham.com. Very simple. TAPCO, TapcoBham.com. Let me talk about Dave's call, then we'll go to some other stuff real quick. Man, I'm telling you, I was enthralled with his story. We just had to move the show along because we were running out of time. People that do this to the elderly in this country should be, I am, it's not an exaggeration. I'm for the death penalty for these people that wipe out the elderly and the vulnerable. They're preying on them because they are vulnerable. My mom's had a couple situations like this. It was more digital. It wasn't that she was duped, but people got access to her stuff digitally, and we're all vulnerable to it. I mentioned that our own company, we do a lot of absurd training sometimes, but sometimes this security training we do from time to time to protect our own infrastructure here is very well done, and it's very eye opening. And you've just got to be on guard for anything that's coming in over the phone or over the internet, especially tech heavy people. They catch you when you're busy. They catch you and they want to alarm you. Anything that comes in and is alarming, sense of urgency, act now, click on this link. I got one this week. It was something, AJ, they spoofed. You might have gotten this too, AJ. They were spoofing like it was our company. And they're good at. We went through an exercise recently in our training where they showed how they do it. That they can use AI to incorporate a logo, standardize a message to look exactly like your internal communications from people you know or trust. And this particular email said that they were changing up our payroll and the way we're doing payroll. And if you don't act and verify some things on your account, you're not going to get paid this week. Well, I mean, immediately anybody's going to go, not going to get paid. What's going on? And before you can stop and think and go back and say, wait a minute, don't click on anything. Don't click on anything. And if they ever get you on the phone, and you got to talk to your older relatives about this, um, and 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 in this case, and I'm going to take Dave for everything he said was, I'm going to take him at his word for everything that he described. If they're keeping you on the phone, they won't let you go check something out. That's the whole point. Is they keep you in that trap until they've gotten what they want out of you, and it's so manipulative. And really, what surprised me the most, and I said this to David when he was on the phone with us, is that this was an on the ground operation here at home, which surprised me about the authorities not being more responsive, according to David, to a situation like this where they got a person actually on camera that he believes was casing the joint ahead of them actually going and physically getting money handed over to them. That was a huge surprise element in this story. Y'all, they're out there, and honestly, our law enforcement departments have more of these cases than you would realize. Some departments in the past, I'm not sure about the ones in Alabama, have even dedicated people and some divisions in larger cities to some of these elder fraud issues. The fraudsters are very sophisticated in knowing not only how to manipulate people out of their funds, but how to get away with it, how to cover their tracks and not leave much of a trace, even when there is something like a surveillance camera. In a lot of ways, you know what I suddenly started thinking about when he was describing that? It sounds crazy maybe, but I thought about the Nancy Guthrie story. You know, it's starting to look more like some of the theories right now on that, even though that's gone cold out of the news, and I don't know if they're ever going to find the woman. But it starts to look like perhaps it was she was targeted for some kind of blackmail scheme or extortion, and then something went wrong. And probably physically with her, they were targeting an older woman as well in a very vulnerable situation, especially living alone with nobody else there to say, wait a minute, hang up the phone. Or did you just hear that noise? Those kind of things are just, they're the worst of our society. There are a lot of bad people in the world, but people that would do that to our moms and dads and folks in our family deserve a special place in hell. And I wish our government could catch them and send them there. But anyway, David, I'm glad you shared that story with us. I wish we had more to tell you about it. I hope the authorities will be responsive and help y'all get to the bottom of it, because here's the thing. These people have a system and they're predatory in what they do, and they will strike again. They'll move on to another place and victimize somebody else. And, you know, you take a person of this age and, I mean, and it comes in all forms. Like, for example, I'm going to ramble on this for just a minute if y'all let me. I get these loan offers that aren't really loan offers. These are calls that are endless all day long, calls and texts. It clogs up my voicemail box. I have to constantly delete it, screen these things out. They even have features on our phones to screen it out. Some of these are actually sort of phishing attacks themselves. They're just trying to lure people in with offers that seem like a good deal, make you want to get you on the phone and get you on the hook. And they're also, some of these are designed to do just that. They're not even legitimate lending operations. And so you think about people in my stage of life, I'm relatively aware of this stuff, and I like to think I'm sophisticated enough to hang up and not click on the link or whatever. But I remember I was down in Columbiana, and I think he mentioned this was, of course, Shelby County. And this was years ago. I was down there to do some car tag stuff. And I went down to the main courthouse, and I'm standing in line, and this sweet little old lady was in line with me. And the line was kind of long, and people were just standing around talking. And she turned around and showed me this thing she had gotten in the mail. And it was very subtle. It wasn't even what was just described on the show, but it was something along the lines of trying to force her into buying an extended car warranty. Okay. But the way they expressed it in there is that if she didn't act now, and this was a piece of mail, this wasn't even somebody on the phone or something digital. If she didn't act now, that they could come and repossess her car, that the warranty had run out. She was in danger of losing her vehicle and she needed to act. And she thought it had something to do with, I guess, car registration. She was so confused and so sweet. And she just showed it to me. I said, "Do you mind if I look at that?" And she was trying to figure out where to go to get in line to figure that out. She came down to the courthouse to settle it. And the smart thing she did was not send them a check or reach out to them at that website or whatever it is that she got in the mail on a piece of paper and fall for the scam. She thought she could go down to the courthouse and get some help. And well, before she was done, all of us in line were able to direct her. And you know what was the saddest part for me about that story? I never forgot it. And this was probably 6 or 7 years ago, is that she was so embarrassed. And that's part of what they use against folks is, I think, as I've grown older, you become somewhat aware of your sense of vulnerability and you go into denial. I watched my granddad do this for a while. When you start losing a step or forgetting things, you can laugh it off, but it does make you feel like, wow, I need to be careful. And you don't want to admit it. And to get duped like that, highly embarrassing. And your first response in a lot of cases is for people just to be defiant about it. Like, well, they didn't fool me. I'm not. Do you think I'm crazy? And when you love your parents, you don't think they're crazy, but you know somebody is, it's like they're under assault and you just want to pull a gun out. You know, it's just, man, I hate stories like that. And I'm sorry for what happened to David's family, but it's out there. It's been out there and it's not new and it continues to go on. And we've just got to be, we got to be aware in our own lives and do, if you ever get offered this kind of cybersecurity training, don't blow it off. Even if you think you're pretty sophisticated, I can guarantee you they've already thought of something that's more sophisticated that's easy for you to get challenged. And then if you do have people in your family and in your life that are vulnerable like this or could get confused or pressured, work on them as hard as you can and in the most loving way you can to educate them. I guess one of the easiest things in the world is say, before you answer a single question on anything like this, call me and get me on the phone with you. Call us and let us help you. We're your second set of eyes. And if you can get a parent to agree to that or a grandparent to agree to that, you've preemptively created a situation where it won't be as embarrassing, because we need to look out for each other. Anyway, there's a little rant on those matters. Here's Joe in Coleman. I think he's calling about the same thing this afternoon. Joe, what's up, buddy?
Yeah, I mean, you know what's even more insidious about this situation is it takes a certain kind of person just to call somebody on the phone and embezzle money from them and all those type of things. But then it sounds like these people went in and they wanted to, surveil the place, and then they wanted to go back and double dip again after they'd gotten the money.
Yeah.
It's just, that makes it even more, I don't know, man. I got really angry hearing that whole story. I do Medicare now, and so I'm a broker, and so I have this type of stuff happen to clients of mine all the time.
I can't imagine.
There's all these phone calls that'll be happening, and that they'll call from this company and they'll call from that company. They say, we can save you this much money, and then they'll go in, and what I've sat there and spent time with them and built a relationship with them, like actually finding out who their doctors are and what their medicines are and what plan actually fits them. Somebody will call them on the phone, put them in something that they can't even use.
Mm.
And then, their Medicare is like it's the most important thing that's going on in their life because of their health condition.
No doubt.
And it's sad, but I mean, it happens on that end of it too.
Well, you think about it, Joe, we're young enough to still be of sound mind, and just normal stuff, taxes, totally confusing. Healthcare, just normal healthcare, dealing with the bills that come in and making sure you haven't missed something.
I'm an agent and I'm still confused from year to year.
I know it. And then now picture yourself being, 20, 30 years older and being bombarded with this stuff. It is just unfair to older folks to allow this kind of thing to happen in our society. It just is.
It's disgraceful. And I look, on the Iranian thing.
Yeah.
I've heard people all day talking about, hey, Trump's the only one that would have done that. Look at the political capital that's costing him, and what is it? What a gamble. And then on the Joe Kent side, saying, well, he was tempted by Israel to go in because even Marco Rubio said that Israel was going to go in if he didn't. What if it just comes down to, Leland, that they were going to blow Israel off the face of the earth in the next few months if we didn't do something? And it finally just took somebody who said, whoa, we're not going to let that happen. What if it just boiled down to that?
Well, here's the thing about Trump and the rest of us that came up in that era. And I forget how old you are, Joe. Trump, I've got sound clips. And
43.
We played one
So
the other day.
I wasn't born during that time, but I do, shortly after that
There are those of us who are a generation who decided in 1979 that we should bomb that country off the map. And we still feel that way. And they have screwed with us and the world since then. And Trump gave interviews back then before Epstein had an operation and before the Jews could have influenced him. In 1979, he was giving TV interviews saying the exact same thing he's saying now, that you can't show weakness to these people. How dare them treat our American citizens that way? Who are these crazy people to do this and get away with it? He was calling out the weakness of the Jimmy Carter administration, not knowing that, 5 decades later, or really 4.5, he would be president and could do something about it. Some of us have carried this animosity toward that regime for 47 years. It is well earned. There's no single thing. There are multiple things, and they've been at war with Western civilization for 47 years. Hallelujah, we've almost gotten it done. By the way, Trump just put a statement out about it. I'm going to read that here in just a minute.
Well, yeah, and then look, hey, and it wasn't just that. Iran touched my generation. I call my generation the 9/11 generation because
Yep.
I was at Wallace State at my freshman year of college whenever that thing went down, and most of my buddies went over there because of that, and they touched us with that. So that generation is missing limbs and missing legs and all kinds of stuff because it goes all the way around. I think it was you mentioned Victor Davis. We need to pray for him too because he just went through some cancer stuff, I think, and we don't need to lose him, man. I mean, what a brilliant mind. He's the one who I couldn't think of his name right off the top of my head, but he's the one who said that, forget the Jewish issue, forget the Muslim issue. It just boils down to a Western civilization issue, and that's why what is going on right now is going on, and it's just bottom line. It doesn't have to be some kind of conspiracy around every corner or some Jew hiding in a bush.
His thoughtful video contributions, I don't know where he does this, if he's got a podcast or something. I just see the clips online.
He does.
Some of the best stuff you can watch. It's so measured and analyzed and correct. He sees a bigger picture than most people. He's not caught up in this stupid ego-driven back and forth between all the attention whores and conservative media right now, taking shots at each other. They're making our modern discussion about them. We got much bigger stuff to deal with in our society, and it's the fate of Western civilization. Joe, I got to go, man. AJ's yelling at me in my ear, and I don't blame him because I'm running late. I got a little rambly toward the end. Michelson Laser Vision bringing you the show tonight. Y'all go get your eyes checked. Thank me later, because if you decide to do LASIK, I think you're going to walk around whistling zippity-doo-dah because the world's beautiful. Seeing them with your own eyes you cannot underestimate how freeing that is. Now, some of you won't be eligible, and some of you will. The only way to know is to go and educate yourself and let them talk to you. It's not a sales pitch. They kind of educate you on. They'll tell you about the downside that's possible with these surgeries too. It is surgery. But man, once you understand it, if you're like me, you'll go, I need this. I need this in my life. MichelsonLaserVision.com. MichelsonLaserVision.com. Back in a minute. Y'all, Alabama Bass ready to come straighten you out. If you, we were talking a lot about elderly issues and older issues. Maybe it's you, maybe it's mama, maybe it's somebody in your family that needs to be able to get refreshed and get in and out of there in a lot more safe way. This is one of those ways you can improve your home with Alabama Bath by trading out that old tub, that old difficult slippery tub, and getting something safe in there so you can stay in your home. You don't have to leave. You don't have to move and move into some other facility. Just improve your home. And this is one of the first steps in making that home livable and safe for you is getting Alabama Bass to do this replacement. Their prices are better, their service is better, their product is better than some of their corporate competitors. And you're dealing with a family business, two generations deep. They've been at it for 40 years helping people with their bathroom projects. And they'll knock this out in 2 days. And what they'll leave behind is a beautiful system that is way safer than what you have now. It's alabamabaths.com, and Pelham if you want to go see them, alabamabaths.com. Trump has put a statement out about the war, and it's, I guess, encouraging if you want him to be speaking in terms of winding it down. It's a little bit lengthy. I just saw it a second ago, and with Joe's previous call, I thought, you know what, let's talk about it. So we'll do that on the other side. I want to be able to get the whole statement in. I see Ann over there. She'll be next on the phones. So let's do the bottom of the hour break, and we'll get to a wrap up on Iran and everything else in the news and your phone calls and whatever else you got going on. Leland Live, Talk 99.5. Y'all hang in there, back here in just a minute. All right, tell Stockton Mortgage bringing you the show tonight. These guys are ready to help you. If you just have questions or you're ready to dig in and do something with your mortgage, these are the folks that I will send you to. They work all the time. So I'm going to give you a website here in a minute that they set up just for this show. And they know when you call from that website and you reach out to them that you're a listener. And Thomas and them, I'm just saying, I think y'all get a little extra special care. It's a crazy time right now in the housing market. A lot of sellers out there. There's some good deals. You better have your financing lined up with this many properties. Y'all, it is savewithstockton.com. That's the website. Y'all reach out to them and let them dig in there and help you troubleshoot, find the right program that fits you and get you there, get you to the close. Savewithstockton.com. Let me get Ann in here, and then I want to get Trump's statement in. Trump is, it sounds like he's wanting to telegraph that we're getting ready to wrap things up with Iran militarily, at least. Ann is up next on line 4. What's up, Ann?
Hey, Leland. I hope everything's going well today.
It is.
All right. So here's what I kind of wanted to say. You know, everybody wants to call and complain about this war, and I get it. It sucks. It sucks for everybody right now. The gas prices are terrible. But we're about to free a country, a whole country, from this terrible regime that have murdered their own people, make their people do awful things. So we're about to get that taken care of. And not only that, we're freeing countries around Iran that have not been able to do any business with the U.S. because of that threat. So look at the export and import that's about to start happening when this gets done.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, it opens up the whole world to, like, everybody just about. Like, we won't have to depend on China for none of their junk. I mean, we can go anywhere we want to and get it at this point after this is done, because that's really the only last major regime other than North Korea that, you know, that we have to deal with, that deals with this kind of stuff. So let's help these people. Look at it that way. Help these people get out from under this regime and hope and pray they don't get another regime in there like that, and then open up the country to all this other business that we can be doing.
Yeah, 100%. Look, just the Strait of Hormuz alone, we see how sensitive it is to the world. Yeah. And that threat has been there for 47 years. And from time to time, they will try to close it off. They'll try to mine it. Reagan had to send military ships in there to escort ships through there, because in those days, Iran didn't have the capability it does to do what it's doing now. And wiping these people out and removing that threat is a long-term win for the world, much less their neighbors, much less their own people, and definitely us. And if nothing, it's payback for the things they've done to our people for this whole time. It was a time.
They've deserved this for a very long time. It's been a long time coming.
Yep.
I'm happy to see it.
Well, thanks for holding in. I appreciate you calling to say that.
Yeah, appreciate
the thing is, folks are getting it, and said at one point in her call that, you know, people are complaining. Complaints aren't that bad. I mean, poll numbers are pretty good on it right now. Trump is looking further down the road than these immediate poll numbers, but he still has majority support in the country and 90+% support among his base, including the MAGA base, which would be most likely to balk at anything that would become a long-term war, or where we were dug in an endless situation. So we've done what we said we'd do the day it started 3 weeks ago. That Saturday, the Trump administration had 3 goals, and we're basically there. Now, there's still a lot of questions on the ground. We still got to figure out how to secure the material, the enriched material, those things. The Strait is going to have to be open, and that's also other nations could participate in that. We didn't say we were going to make the place squeaky clean and turn it into the 51st state. We just said we were going to do 3 things. And Trump spoke to that just a little while ago. He put this statement out. People are reacting to it. Let me just read the whole thing so that we have it in context. It says, "We are getting very close to meeting our objectives as we consider winding down our great military efforts in the Middle East with respect to the terrorist regime of Iran. Number 1, completely degrading the Iranian missile capability, their launchers and everything else pertaining to them." Anybody want to argue that? Anybody want to argue that Iran has a missile program? They have some air capability, but it's not a real threat. As we've seen, the defense mechanisms in the region are shooting all of those down. And their activity in missile launches is way down. It's almost non-existent. They'll still fling one out there every now and then. They're all missing their targets. Most of them are getting hit and intercepted. So we've done that. Did you know how much they had when we started? They had thousands of missiles and all this capability and a radar system, and they had an Air Force and a Navy. That's gone. They can't project the power they could 3 weeks ago. That's done. Their threat to that region is done just from our efforts alone in the last 3 weeks. Number 2, he says destroying Iran's defense industrial base. Check. Eliminating their Navy, Air Force, and their anti-aircraft weaponry. That happened within hours. That Chinese anti-aircraft system was gone. That also exposed the Chinese as being complete frauds in their technology. Total frauds. It didn't work. We wiped it out. It just blinded them immediately. Snuck in there. They never saw us coming. It's amazing what our military is capable of. Quote, the 4th thing he lists here is never allowing Iran to get close to nuclear capability and being in position where the USA can quickly react to such a situation should it take place. We already hit Fordham. Now we've taken out the infrastructure that supported Fordham. With the last 3 weeks, this is me talking, they took out research facilities, mining facilities, underground storage, other aspects of that program. Even some of the participants alone have been eliminated. They're not there to do it anymore. The 5th thing was protecting at the highest level the Middle Eastern allies, including Israel, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Kuwait, and others. I'm reading from Trump. The Hormuz Strait will have to be guarded and policed as necessary by other nations who will use it. Hey, that's not our oil that goes through there. It's affecting our prices, but we don't get our oil from there. That's going to be he's letting Europe and the Asian nations figure out how to get their strait open so they can get their product. It's not our problem. We're not threatening the strait. The Iranians, what's left of them, are the ones telegraphing these threats, and they'll get it sorted. The United States does not, if asked. We will help the countries with their Hormuz efforts, but it shouldn't be necessary once Iran's threat is eradicated. Importantly, it will be an easy military operation for them. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Trump. So it's so simple that it'll get criticized. For example, Trump goes in, and all we hear for days from the left and some people on the right is this is an endless war. We're never going to be out. We're going to be there for 10 years. We're going to have to put boots on the ground. All week last week, all I heard were especially Democrats going, there's no way we're going to have to put boots on the ground. Now, we may have to put the Marines on Carg Island, but that's just smart. Anyway, it guarantees supply to the world to keep that island in the right hands and keep it flowing rather than just blow it up, which would be the easy thing to do. So they say that over and over and over that we're in an endless war. We're going to have to put boots on the ground. This is an escalation. They're pulling for one of our planes to crash, one of our soldiers to get killed so they can capitalize on it. And those things didn't happen in great measure. And I'm talking in past tense just because I'm talking about what's happened so far. And so now Trump says, I laid out these objectives and we repeated them day after day here on the show. 3 things we were going to do. That's done. We're done. And we'll be pulling out at some point very, very soon. We did what we came to do. We say we came, we saw, we kicked ass. That's from a movie, and I can't even remember where that came from. It was in the 80s. Good. And, the world now can assist in whatever happens from now, especially in the Strait. We don't own the Strait. And it's a difficult problem, and I'm sure we'll still help. But the aerial campaign, the bombing campaign, the aircraft carriers, the constant shelling of the country, we've probably hit every target we can find at this point. So that has to come to an end anyway. And we're not withdrawing diplomatically or in any other way with the world. We've still got to deal with all this stuff, and oil is oil and it'll affect us. But we're developing our own here. Thank God. We've got the Venezuelan oil. There are 140 million barrels of Iranian oil floating around out there that had already been pumped, that allegedly what we're going to do is say, okay, that's out of our sanction now. Take it to market. Don't sell it to the Chinese for pennies on the dollar. Take it to market and let the world have that supply. The whole world could run on the Iranian oil that's floating around on tankers for 2 weeks. That's 2 weeks to continue to unwind the conflict. This is positive. So here's what you're going to hear now. Go ahead and write this down. Trump's caving. He quit. He caved. Did he? Because he laid it out and did it. Sometimes it's so simple that people have to try to make it sound complex. Our military, they weren't flawless. No human endeavor is flawless. But this was probably the most expertly executed military action I've seen our country do in years. And if you add to that the other actions that we did, the Fordham bombing, the Maduro snatch, the Venezuelan drug boats, they've been airtight. There haven't been leaks. The missions came off with the element of surprise. We achieved the objectives, and we get back. This is not Vietnam. This is not Iraq. We're not trying to prop up a government and teach them how to do elections. We got to worry about our own elections. This is what we wanted, was take care of business, do the big stuff that we have to do, and then let the world take over and participate as well. Good. I think this is the beginning of the wind down, and Trump is telegraphing that this weekend as we all go off to have a weekend. How about that? Distinctive pools. Let's talk. Gary Levesque's been building pools for 40 years, 4 decades of taking care of business with the pools and the hardscape stuff. If you're going to put a pool on your house, consider doing the other elements that tie it into your house, which would be like outdoor kitchen, living, do a pizza oven or a fireplace, or put a TV out there, maybe a hot tub. All these things they can design for you and scale that project up or down, whatever fits your budget or your space. And it'll be done right. It'll be done expertly, because that's what they do at Distinctive Pools. They're really good at it. DistinctivePools.com. You'll reach out to Gary and the team and let them come start drawing in the dirt with you and laying out some plans. That's how you get a budget. And they've got finance companies to help you pull this off too, and show off for your whole family, and you'll be swimming all summer. You've got plenty of time to get this project done in time for summertime. We just started spring. It's DistinctivePools.com. Don't sit on it anymore. YOLO. Reach out and at least investigate what they can do for you at DistinctivePools.com. Back here in just a minute, Leland Live. All right, man. Last few minutes of the show here today. Y'all get back in here and we'll wrap things up. Birmingham Broker, of course, longtime sponsor here on the show. If you're in the market to do some car trading, go ahead and take yours down to Birmingham Broker and let them give you an estimate of what they can sell it for, because I think you'll be surprised. I know I was. My old story goes back probably 10 years now, where they were able to get me $2,000 in those days more for the vehicle. I thought I'd done all my research and looked at all the blue books and figured out what I thought it was worth. And they said, no, we can get you $2,000 more than that. They knew that what that truck was worth, and they sold it, and it was fast. And I was able to go buy and negotiate my new one without the encumbrance of trying to haggle over two cars at once. Y'all don't play that game. Don't get ripped off on yours while they got you all in love with the new one. Be smart, give it some time, let the pros help. They'll take care of everything. They'll handle it. They'll prep it. They'll find you a buyer. They'll do the haggling. They'll do the paperwork, send you a check or put it in your hand. BHAMBroker.com, downtown Birmingham, 4th Avenue South. They're very close to our friends over at Iron City. Birmingham Broker, BHAMBroker.com. Go see Craig and Keith, BHAMBroker.com. They got a new sideline business too that's down there. I can't wait to talk about it. I guess I could talk about it, but I'm waiting to work some things out with Craig, and hopefully we'll have a big grand opening for that too. A fun business that they've added to Birmingham Broker that I just think is great. All right, let's go back. Man, there's so many things I could double back on. By the way, Alabama did win their basketball game, advanced in the NCAA tournament without the weed dealer that they had on their payroll, or whoever he is. So good for them. A little update on that. The SAVE Act, they're still debating, going to be debating through the weekend. And I'm telling you, based on Thune's body language and everything that's going on with that, it's a total show. It's a total show. These people in leadership believe that somehow they're going to score points by taking the popularity of voter identification and letting the Democrats talk against it and say all these absurd things that they'll turn around and be able to use in the election. Well, it won't matter if you're using them in the election if they've got the ability to cheat. So, there's all that today. What's crazy is this Lisa Murkowski, who's a Republican, whatever that means anymore, arguing against it today. I got to go back to this. So this is how I opened the show. So she had this concept that she would exempt people that were born before 1961 from having to show proof of citizenship when you register to vote. She thought that was a compromise, I guess. I don't know who she's protecting, probably those old ass people in the Senate, but maybe is she a citizen? Has anybody checked? So she had this idea that you could, if you were born before 61, you shouldn't have to be included in the citizenship restriction. So the first thing I thought was, well, how are you going to prove you were born before 1961? You got to go get a birth certificate, right? Which means what she would be doing there is asking you to provide an identification and a birth certificate to prove you don't have to do that again.
I don't think she thought that one through.
ID, so you don't have to provide ID to vote. Is that what I'm hearing, AJ?
Yeah.
The woman's a nut. She's a nut job. How you doing back there? I hadn't talked to you much today.
Man, I'm too blessed to be depressed, man. I'm doing good.
You got plans this weekend?
No. Well, yeah, I do. I got to go to a birthday party, kid's birthday party. So, I'm in that era. So.
Oh Lord, that's the age where there's one every Saturday.
Yeah. So.
Because they're all born around the same time, so you'll be like 3 months and going to skating rinks and stuff. Lord, I'll never forget that zone. There was a skating rink over here near me in those days. I guess when my oldest was like 5 or 6. I think I was at that same skating rink 6 Saturdays in a row one time.
Yeah.
Same thing. Same music. Same deal.
Now, if I any more birthday parties I get invited to, I'm a little I gotta be the DJ or something. I gotta provide the music.
The different zones. I'm back in. Just to let the audience know, I am back in cheerleader zone.
Mm-hmm.
The young princess made the JV team and found out last night. We were all at dinner together, and she found out, and they were all excited. What I learned though is now I'm a veteran. Is you don't get in the car once they learn that they won. you don't go over to what they do is they'll all separate because, you know, if you don't get in, it's going to be sad. So they'll all separate and go with their families. And then they find out they won online. Then they all run over to the school and take a big group picture of the new team, right? Fun times. But they are squealing, AJ, to a decibel that my old ears can't handle. And I learned that by experience lesson because I went over to the squeal zone. I didn't know what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
I could hear them from the road. Before we even turned into the school, I could hear them squealing. They get out of the car and they jump around with their bows in their hair and they squeal and then take a picture.
Yeah.
So this year, I went to the dinner part, found out that she's a pure champion, and then I got the hell out of there and went home and I let her mama said, "You go do the squeal part. I'm done." No, but we're proud of her. That's one of those things where some of the kids didn't make it, and it's always sad with the ones that didn't make it. The ones that did make it, I'm just thinking the dads are all going deep down inside. You're sad for your princess because she didn't make it, but deep down you're going, yes, and you're counting all the money you're going to save.
Mm-hmm.
There's an upside when you're kids. I mean, there were plenty of times I'd be on a little league field, and it'd be like late in the year. It's October, and you're freezing to death. You just want them to lose the bracket so you can go home. You just like, come on, man, strike out.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't do this anymore. We've been doing this for 6 months.
Well, until you know, with the daughter, and if she doesn't make the cheer team, there's always the flag team.
There's always something.
Yeah, there's always something. There's
And
a backup to the backup.
All of them are nowadays designed to get your money out your wallet. And then here comes Easter and Mother's Day and all the gift giving seasons. And if you need to give somebody precious in your life, for example, last night we could have gone to Allen Company, got a nice little charm or etch something in there to commemorate it. It's nice to, those kind of gifts, you know, you never give away, you keep forever. It's got the date on it that you graduated or whatever. And they do that. They do laser etching at Allen and Company. And man, they're just the best, whether it's an engagement setting or a ring upgrade, because Phyllis, she has put up with you for years and it's time to upgrade that diamond. They'll handle that. Allen is a master jeweler. Everything stays on site. If you take your stuff in for cleaning and repairs and fixing chains and resizing, all your stuff stays there. They try to get it back to you within a week. Very good service. Great situation they've got over there. And you'll love the Thompsons. They're just the sweetest people. It's Allen and Company in Vestavia for all your gift giving this year. Allen and Company. Y'all get to know them. We will see you on Monday. You have a great weekend. Wear a mask because the pollen, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. All that tree pollen in the
It's
air.
everywhere.
Have a good weekend. See you on Monday. Goodbye, AJ.